It is another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the 5 films released on November the 13th of 2009. And a wide assortment of movies here. We've got a disaster film from Roland Emmerich. We have a film from Britain. Wes Anderson has his first stop-motion animated feature. Actually, we have a couple movies starring Woody Harrelson this weekend, and we have an ensemble with some notable female stars in there, and one would think that there would be something there, but why don't you just stay tuned, because we're going to get to that eventually. But before we do any of that, let's get to the biggest new release of the weekend, and that is Roland Emmerich's latest film, 2012.
We'll all stay together.
This mass suicide was discovered here in the ancient Mayan city of Tikal. The victims adhere to the Mayan calendar, which predicts that the end of time will coincide with a planetary alignment on the 21st of December of 2012.
Hello?
Kate, I've rented a plane. Pack up the kids.
The governor just said we're fine now.
When they tell you not to panic, that's when you run!
You call me back when you calm down.
Let that god-awful Arnold Schwarzenegger impression give you an indication of one of the many, many things wrong with this movie, because let me tell you something. This is not the same Roland Emmerich that made a stupid but fun film in The Day After Tomorrow. No. This is him going back to Independence Day pretentiousness. And, Independence Day was subtle compared to the bullshit that's in this movie. Because, yeah, this is a bad movie. This is a film that is just... wow, it's rough. Based off of the phenomenon that was happening around this time, 2012, everyone thought that December 21st, 2012 was going to be the end of the world, because that's what the Mayans predicted. 1,000 years, December 21st, 2012, the world was going to come to an end. And sure enough, when it happened, the world did not come to an end. Otherwise, we would not all be here right now, and I would not be talking to you right now. I'd be a skeleton lying in the ground wondering, what the hell? Why did Roland Emmerich get that right? And the movie can't even get that right. I'm going to get to the plot here, but based on that phenomenon, its plot follows numerous characters, including novelist Jackson Curtis, played by John Cusack, and geologist Adrian Helmsley, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, as they struggle to survive in I'm going to get this word wrong. Eschatological... Is this... Sorry. A catastrophic sequence of events. I want to get through this quickly, but a catastrophic series of events including earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, mega tsunamis, a global flood. Pretty much every disaster in the world is in this movie. That's literally what the movie is. And like I said, it doesn't even do a good job at that, because, first of all, the phenomenon said it was going to be December 21st, 2012, and it's clearly the summertime when this is happening in 2012. But believe me, that's the smallest of the problems with this movie. This movie doesn't work because it's a movie that is trying to be so serious, and yet it's trying to be so goddamn funny. Like the bad Arnold Schwarzenegger governor impression. That's the second time in this movie where they do the thing where it's just like everything's perfectly fine, and then all of a sudden a disaster happens, because it happens when Amanda Pete's with her new husband, and they're in the grocery store, and the guy's just like, I feel like we're really coming apart at the seams here, and then the grocery store just splits in two like an earthquake, and it's just like, why is this funny? Like, who thinks that this is hilarious? Like, what the hell are you doing here? And it'd be fine if the special effects were good. The Day After Tomorrow had those moments in there, but it was working because the special effects were working in that movie. The special effects in here look absolutely awful. There are so many scenes of CG in this movie that looks absolutely god-awful. And I guess we should be grateful that this was not released in 3D, because I can only imagine the hell that this movie would have looked like in 3D. But on top of that, the symbolism, the stupid bit of symbolism here. John Cusack plays a guy named Jackson Curtis, who has the initials J and C. Who else has those initials that you know from religious things, the Bible and all that type of stuff? It's you know who it is that I'm thinking of here. I'm, of course, talking about James Cameron. Of course, he's in the religious books that you think of here, and I can't think of anybody else in particular. Son of God, oh yeah, there's a guy named Jesus Christ, so I guess you could throw that in there too. That's literally what they do in this movie with John Cusack's character. They perceive him as the savior of everybody during this whole thing. Like, he's going to be the one that literally is going to be the one to save us from this disaster. And again, for a movie that's supposed to be about the end of the world, it has a happy ending to it, which makes no sense whatsoever, because the movie should end with the world coming to an end. But nope, not in this movie. No. The thing just comes to an end. It's like an Ice Age movie, except the Ice Age movies were intended for kids. But this is supposed to be a serious adult movie, and it's just like, you can't take anything seriously in this goddamn movie. I mean, Roland Emmerich, this is him at his going downhill very quickly, because he never recovered from this. This is a movie where he's just going downhill, and he's never coming back, because everything he's made since then has been nothing but just trying to recapture the magic from Independence Day. You know, that movie that was a big hit back is 13 years ago, because that's the one thing he's got left to him, and he's going to try so hard to go back to that magic, even making a sequel that is unnecessary and does not need to exist. There are times in this movie where he's trying so hard to grasp on that Independence Day magic. Remember the dog in Independence Day, Boomer? Boomer will live. Ah! Like, remember that? Yeah. Here's another scene. Here's another dog in this movie. This time, it's from a Paris Hilton knockoff. It's a Chihuahua, and you know there's a literal part when they're built on this ark where this dog takes up the time in this movie, and it's just like, what are we doing here? Like, honestly, what the hell are we doing here with this film? I mean, I'm just baffled that this film not only became the hit that it was, but the fact that people were suckered into this once again. It's just like, this is a terrible movie. I mean, when I saw it back in the day, I saw it in the theater, and I just thought it was alright. I mean, it was certainly a lot better than I thought it was going to be back then, because it looks nice in theaters. But watching it again at home, on a Blu-ray or on an HD television, that film does not look any better than it did back then. I mean, this is a movie that is just so... I hate this movie. I really do hate this movie. I gave it the benefit of the doubt when I saw it first 16 years ago, and watching it now, not too long ago, this shit has not held up well at all. It is pretentious. It doesn't know if it wants to be funny or serious. It's Roland Emmerich struggling so hard to keep that money that he was making off Independence Day. He wants that money from you again with these disaster movies. And I think people weren't smart enough to stay away from this one, but after that, every disaster movie he made was a flop. Independence Day 2, Moonfall. I mean, I think people have finally gotten the hint, finally given Roland Emmerich the hint that we don't want to see you making any more of these movies anymore. And I mean, this is a mess. This is a mess of a movie. 2012, I mean, this is a type of movie that makes you want the real 2020 end of the world to happen, so we never have to see another goddamn Roland Emmerich movie ever again. I mean, this is terrible. This is a terrible, terrible film. Avoid it like the plague. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, which is Pirate Radio, aka The Boat That Rocked.
When the British government banned rock and roll from the radio,
We're going to shut them down.
one American DJ
Let's rock!
and a band of misfits took their message to the street.
Rock and roll!
From the creator of Love Actually and Notting Hill,
The first moment I saw you, I fell in love with you.
Rolling Stone raves. It's a rip-roaring comedy.
I intend to broadcast from this ship until the day I die. And then for a couple days after that.
Pirate Radio. Rated R. In theaters November 13th.
Depending on where you're watching this from, it was called Pirate Radio here in the States, but in the UK, it was called The Boat That Rocked. It's an ensemble film starring Philip Seymour Hoffman, Bill Nighy, Reese Ethans, Nick Frost, and Kenneth Branagh, and it's set in 1966, involving the story of this fictional pirate radio station called Radio Rock, and its crew of eclectic disc jockeys. And their goal is to broadcast radio, rock and pop music to the UK from a ship anchored in the North Sea while the British government tries to shut them down. And notably, this is the first film Richard Curtis has done as a director since Love Actually. And Love Actually is a fantastic film. This one, not so much. It's not a bad movie per se, but it has the same kind of problems that a movie like Taking Woodstock had the year before. Earlier in the summer, I mean, not the year before, but Taking Woodstock was a movie released by Universal. It was already a film directed by Ang Lee. It was a film directed by Ang Lee. And of course, in that movie, the same problems are in this movie too. It's very muddled. There isn't really much of a story in here where there should be a story. And yeah, the actors in this movie are fine here, but what's the point? Why are we here? Like, what is the point of the storyline here? I mean, the only thing else I could really say about the movie is that you get to listen to some good songs from the 1960s. I mean, you have a great soundtrack here. Classic songs from that era, you know, Judy in the Sky, you know, what else? Trying to think of what else. I know that was one of the songs that was in here. You know, Dancing in the Street, Wouldn't It Be Nice, you know, just these great songs from songs that I remember listening to on 3WS. But other than that, though, 3WS, the local Pittsburgh classic radio affiliate here. I mean, this is a radio station that's been around ever since I was little. But nowadays, it's mostly just songs from the 60s to, you know, 2000s, because, you know, 20 years is apparently the cutoff date for classics nowadays. But yeah, other than that, though, this is kind of a lame movie. I mean, there's not a lot of good jokes in here. And for Richard Curtis to follow this up after Love Actually, it's a real letdown of a movie. I mean, there's definitely something there where it's just like, there's just something that you really thought could have been there. And apparently this version, this is a cut down version than the one that's seen in theaters in the UK, because according to Wikipedia here, it was actually cut down 20 minutes of retitled pirate radio here in the States, while it's actually longer in the UK, and I don't think it did well in the UK either, but I don't know. I mean, the UK version probably is better, but I've never heard anybody say it's one you should check out, so I'm just going to take the version that we got here as a sign that maybe I shouldn't go see the original version. So overall, not really something to see overall. It's a major letdown compared to what Richard Curtis did with Love Actually. So with that said, let us go ahead and move on to a much better movie, and this is easily the best movie of the entire week. One of my favorite animated movies of all time. It's Wes Anderson's first ever stop-motion animated feature, The Fantastic Mr. Fox.
And so it begins. Welcome to the fantastic world of Mr. Fox.
Woo!
Should we dance?
Woo!
His life is fantastic.
Pure wild animal craziness.
His wife is fantastic.
If what I think is happening, it better not be.
His neighbors, not so fantastic.
This is Bogus, Bunce, and Bean, three of the meanest, nastiest, ugliest farmers in his valley.
What was that? They're digging us out.
But they're about to discover
Oh, Foxy, is help on the way?
he's one fox
I've got an idea.
you can't outfox.
Mole, what do you got?
I can see in the dark.
We can use that. Rabbit, I'm fast. Badger, demolitions expert. What? Since when? Here, put these bandit hats on.
I don't have a bandit hat, but I modified this tube sock. They look good. Yeah, do.
You're incredible.
I can fit through there. You wanna know why? Why? Because I'm little.
It's all about fantastic.
You really are fantastic.
I try.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
It's a lightning bolt.
This fence might be electric.
Well, I just hope it doesn't mean thunder, because I have a phobia of that.
Just Wes Anderson entering the world of stop-motion animation and doing a pretty damn good job at it, man. I love the hell out of this movie. I mean, there's not much more I could say about this film that hasn't already been said already. But this is based off of the book by Roald Dahl, and it follows a story where you have these animals led by Mr. Fox, played by George Clooney. And, you know, he spent a life of crime, and when he finds out that his wife, played by Meryl Streep, is pregnant, he decides to essentially leave his days of being a thief and just basically living the life as the big kahuna of this group, if you will. That includes characters voiced by Jason Schwartzman, his son. Bill Murray plays a badger. Owen Wilson plays like a polar bear. Willem Dafoe has a role in here too, and he's being hunted down by three farmers, Bogus, Bunce, and Bean, who are names that you're going to remember through this movie because they have a great song in here, but they also have some of the more memorably funny moments in this movie. I mean, there's one scene in particular where one of the farmers is upset that the fox outfoxed him, and he's in his room, and he just goes ahead and starts just destroying the room around him. And just the animation in this movie, for a guy who's never done animation before, Talk about a great debut for him. Of course, he would follow this up 9 years later with another movie of his, Isle of Dogs, which is another fantastic film. But this, I really love the hell out of this movie, man. There's not really much more I can say about this film that hasn't already been said already, because it is such a good film. The voice acting is top-notch. The animation is so well done. The stop-motion work in here is so good. You could see the hairs on these creatures when they're moving and talking, and like that's something where it's just like, I mean, that's actual effort being put into this to actually, the details are so good in this movie. The comedy is top notch. I mean, this really is a quite literally a fantastic film that just, it needs to be seen. It needs to be seen. You've got to check this one out. Even if you're not the biggest Wes Anderson fan, if you're an animation lover, you got to go and check this movie out, because yeah, this is a great movie, man. Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's a fantastic film. I can't really add anything new to this that hasn't already been said already. It's one you should definitely check out. It's one of the year's best movies, easily. Fantastic Mr. Fox. So with all that said, on to, let's see, our next movie here. I almost lost it for a second, but the second Woody Harrelson movie of the weekend. We had 2012 earlier, but here he is in a much better film that really shows a lot of his talents, and that is The Messenger.
I was blind, but now I see.
I said there'd be days like these.
I was blind, but now I see.
It's hard to believe 2009 was actually Woody Harrelson's equivalent to Robert Downey Jr.'s year, the year before, where nobody had really heard from him. He had been kind of, there was a point where I think that he was in a lot of legal troubles, but then he had this year where he just had these big roles, one after another, and while they weren't as successful as Robert Downey Jr. was, I mean, he did have 2012, but he was great in Zombieland. But here, in The Messenger, he proves the guy's still got a lot of acting chops to him, and this is a film where you follow him and Ben Foster, who are a pair of United States Army casualty notification officers, and the effects of their difficult work on their personal lives and each other. In addition to the two of them, you got Samantha Morton, Steve Buscemi, and Jenna Malone among the cast in here. This director, Oren Movement, has not really done a whole lot of noteworthy things since then, and, you know, this is his first movie as a director, but it came out of the gate strong, but unfortunately, his career kind of took a nosedive here, and this really is one of the best war films, one of the best post-war films that you could honestly have. I mean, this is a movie where, this is coming around a time when we had so many anti-war films, like, you know, Rendition, you know, The Kingdom was another one, Lions for Lambs. A lot of them were not very good. Stop Loss. This is one of the few big breakout movies that really was a lot better than a lot of people were expecting it to be, and sadly, it didn't leave much of a lasting impact overall. It kind of came and went once the Oscars were done. Nobody really remembered the film. But it's something you want to check out because it handles a very touchy subject, and it's done very well by this director here. And the actors in here are top-notch. Ben Foster's great and all, but Woody Harrelson is the big breakout in this movie because you really you got to remember, this guy has a lot of good acting chops too. I mean, this isn't just Woody from Cheers. I mean, the guy has range. I mean, he's proven it time and time again. Natural Born Killers, The People vs. Larry Flint. I mean, this is a really good guy who can handle both comedic roles and dramatic roles so well. And he just knocks it out of the park in this movie. He's really fantastic in this film. And like I said, it's a movie that handles a very touchy subject. You know, the idea of going to these people's houses and telling them that your son or your daughter or someone that you know has died in combat. I mean, this is a very tough thing you got to deal with here. But unlike a lot of the other anti-war films or films about the Afghan war, like, this isn't a movie where it's not a film where, you know, it's just being spelled out for you, like, you know, oh, war is evil, and like this is like you shouldn't do this type of stuff. It's just like no, it doesn't do that. It tells a very heartfelt story without having to go to those extreme levels to where it could have easily ruined the film. And it doesn't do that. It's a really good film. It's a film that keeps you invested in these characters. And it's just, again, the acting is just so good in here. I can't believe this guy has not done anything as a director since then that's been noteworthy. Or Movement. I mean, he's done stuff like Rampart, which I've never heard anybody talk about. Time Out of Mind, The Dinner. Like, these films sound like films that I mean, he has written some decent stuff here. He actually did write one of my favorite movies of the last, underrated films of the last couple decades, Love and Mercy, which is the Brian Wilson biopic with John Cusack in it. And that's a terrific film. And he has written a lot of good stuff. I'm Not There. He wrote that a couple years ago. That was really good. He did Married Life, The Quiet Ones. So he has done some stuff as a writer. As a director, not so much. But as a writer, he has done a lot of good stuff. So maybe I'm giving him a little too low of a credit. I mean, he still is making good stuff overall, but not really films that are memorable as a director. But then again, I haven't really seen a lot of his other movies, so who knows? Maybe they're actually underrated gems. But The Messenger certainly is one you want to check out. It's a film that I'm glad I got to see it when I did, because it's a film that doesn't get much attention nowadays, but it's a film you want to check out. If you want to see a really good performance by Woody Harrelson to show that the guy still has the acting chops, this is the film to see. The Messenger, great film. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at our last film that we have here, and that is Women in Trouble.
That's as straight as it gets.
I'm pregnant.
Congratulations.
How can I be pregnant?
Are you virgin?
No.
And you can be pregnant.
You're kidding.
Can anyone hear me?
Hey, what's up?
Did you make the reservations, or was I supposed to?
Oh, I'll take care of it.
You're on the other side of this door, aren't you, Addie? Ow! Oh my God! Ow! But is she gonna be all right? She's fine. This happens to her all the time. Really?
I'd very much like to carry on flirting with you after we land.
Is that right? Have you ever made a really bad mistake? One thing you can never forgive yourself for?
Can you pick on your mom?
I'm serious.
I was joking.
The way he looked at me, I could feel him mentally undressing me with his eyes.
Holly, we were working in a strip club.
You are alive, and the time is now. Today is the day you will not forget.
Shit. I'm sorry, I fell asleep there for a second. What the hell is going on in this movie? I mean, no joke, that was kind of literally my first thought watching this movie. I see all these great actresses, you know, Carla Gugino, Adrienne Palicki, Connie Britton, Marley Shelton, Garcelle Bovis Nyland, Josh Brolin here, Emmanuel Shariki. You have a lot of good people in this movie. It's a film that literally is selling you on the sex appeal. I mean, look at the poster, for God's sakes. And yet, this is one of the most boring fucking movies I have ever seen in my entire life. Good Lord, this was rough to sit through. I mean, this is a film that just... Wow, man. But anyway, let me put this away. A little basketball pillow I just got today. I might as well use it for a prop here. But anyway, back to this movie. It focuses on 6 women in Los Angeles as their lives become intertwined in the course of 24 hours. You have Carla Gugino as a porn star, Electra Lux, who gets pregnant, and she gets stuck in an elevator from this woman who is played by Connie Britton, who is sister to Addie. Addie played by Caitlin Keats, and Addie has recently started to take her daughter to... who is actually the biological daughter of Doris, but due to drug abuse, and Doris's at the time abusive boyfriend, she was raised by Addie. You have a character named Charlotte, played by... I can't even remember the names here. Isabella Gutierrez, who is seen by her therapist Maxine. Maxine, played by Sarah Clark, while secretly using the visits to sleep with Maxine's husband. Maxine's husband's played by Simon Baker. Upon learning about the affair during a therapy session with Charlotte, Maxine rushes out and gets into her car. While backing up, she hits porn star Holly Rocket. Holly Rocket is played by Adrienne Palicki, who's a colleague of Electra Lux, who's been fleeting with her friend Bambi, played by Emmanuel Shariki, from a job that has gone wrong. Meanwhile, a flight attendant named Cora, played by Marley Shelton, finds herself the object of rock star Nick Chappell, played by Josh Brolin, with a terrible British accent, and his affections on a flight to his band's upcoming show. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt is also in here too. This movie makes no fucking sense whatsoever. I mean, this is a film that is just so... How do you take something like this and make it the most boring movie I have ever seen in my life? Not a single one of these people's lives in this film is interesting whatsoever. How do you make a 92-minute movie seem like the most boring movie ever made? This thing is unbelievable on how bad it is. Like, this is a movie that is just so... It literally has nothing to say to anything. It's a movie that thinks it's trying to be so smart and so sophisticated and appeal to women out there, while also appealing to the men by having these women in sexy lingerie. I mean, the movie literally, one of the main focal points is having Carla Gugino as a porn star wearing sexy lingerie. I mean, it's almost like the director was banging her or something. Actually, it is, because the director, Sebastian Gutierrez, who is her partner, and... yeah, it literally says partner on here. They've been together for 30 years now, so I guess they're not married or anything like that. So they've been around for that long. But yeah, that's... I mean, I know I'm being harsh on this film, but the filmmaker did it. The film did it to itself, because nothing is happening in this movie that is even the most remotely interesting. I want to get some involvement in this. This has a lot of actresses and people in here that I really like. I like Carla Gugino. I like Adrian Palicki from Friday Night Lights. Connie Britton, Marley Shelton, Garcelle Bovis Nylon, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Josh Brolin, Emmanuel Shariki, Cameron Richardson, Sarah Clark, Simon Baker, Xander Berkeley, Elizabeth Berkley, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. All these people are talented people, but they're just given nothing to do in this movie. This is like if you took one of those Gary Marshall ensemble comedies, and instead of just doing the comedies that they are, just silly over-the-top comedies in general, they took the silly stuff out of there and just put nothing in there. Everyone talks like they're soft talking, like it's ASMR, and it doesn't help that their stories are not interesting in the slightest. There's not one time in this movie I got invested whatsoever, and to have all these people in here and to not have one person in here that I gave a shit about, that's unbelievable. That is unbelievable how this film manages to go down that route. It's just... it's a terrible movie. It's a terrible film, and I hate to say this because I like the people involved in here, but at the same time, there's just nothing there. It's a movie that tries to appeal to everybody. It's trying to appeal to the men with the sex appeal, trying to appeal to the women, because you got all these people here, and the movie is literally called Women in Trouble, and there's just nothing there. It's a con movie for all genres out there, like for all genders out there, for the men, for the women, for the he, him, she, her, like whatever pronouns you want to use. I mean, I don't want to go down that route, but you get the idea here. This is a con movie for everybody, and for everybody, no matter who you are. Like, this thing tries to get something out of you, and then when they sucker you in, they waste an hour and a half of your life that you're never getting back. Because yeah, this is a boring ass movie, man. This is one of the most boring films I have ever seen in my entire life. I mean, this is a bad movie. This is a really, really bad movie. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was excited to watch this when I saw it in Walmart. It was just like, I've been hearing about this. I might want to check it out. And when I got it, I couldn't even finish it the first time around. Like, I got halfway through and it's just like, yeah, nothing is happening here, so why the hell am I even here? So, yeah, Women in Trouble. This movie is in trouble. This movie needs a lot more help than any of these women do, plain and simple. And so, on that lovely little note right here, that's going to wrap up this episode of Time About the Movies. The next time we meet, we'll take a look at pre-Thanksgiving weekend and a wide assortment of movies once again, including one of the worst sequels ever, the sequel to Twilight, and that's the Twilight Saga New Moon, which, if you thought the first one was bad, oh boy, you're not ready for the stupidness that's in this film. But we also have a Sandra Bullock in her Oscar-winning film performance in the feature film The Blind Side, which was a massive hit back in the day, but nearly over 15 years later, it is now seen as something completely different, and not in a good way. We have a new animated feature from Sony Pictures, not released by Sony Pictures Animation, because if it was, it'd be a whole lot better than it actually was, Planet 51. We also have Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, starring Nicolas Cage and Eva Mendes. We have Pedro Almodovar's Broken Embraces. I feel like he made a movie to say to Sebastian Gutierrez, hey, motherfucker, this is how you're supposed to do it, because that's another thing I shout about Women in Trouble, because it feels like that director was trying to make a Pedro Almodovar movie, but you know, this one here, Broken Embraces, is the one that is the real Almodovar movie, and I don't even need to go into it right now to tell you that that's a much better movie, but we'll save that for tomorrow. And then also we have, is that it? Just want to make sure I got everything. So yeah, I think that's it. So we have 1, 2, 5 movies once again. 5 movies to take a look at next time around, and we'll do that tomorrow on this show. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and hit that playlist on the next page. Check out the previous episode. And also, don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, the notification button, and the bell, because that's where you get updates when new videos come out. And we do post new videos here every day. So, with all that said, I'm off. I'll see you guys next time. And until then, as always, take care.